want to talk about studded tires. It's important that you ride on studded tires. You're really not going to wipe out as often. You'll feel way more confident. You can stud your own tires. You can buy commercially studded tires. The commercially studded tires are quite expensive, around $100 a tire. But the benefit of those is the studs are made of a nice hard material that doesn't wear down very quickly. So if you stud your own tires, you're going to be working on them every well, it depends on how much you ride, every 2 to 3 years. Here's a tire that I studded up last year. I'm going to get another year on it. You want more grip on the front than the rear. So this is a front tire. And there's none down the middle, but if you're upright, you can hear that we're making contact. So you don't really need it down the middle. Now with these tires, I've studded from the inside, which means I've taken a drill. I've drilled a hole through the knob on the outside of the knob so that I didn't stud accidentally in the wrong area. And then after you drill a hole, you can take a screw and put it right through the hole. Now, some screws are better than others. If you're going to stud your tires so that the screw is coming out of the tire, you're going to want a screw that has a nice flat surface on the inside. You don't want jagged edges coming out. So these are wafer screws from the Co-op, 9/16 of an inch. Nice pointy, that'll get you 2 years of wear, maybe 3. These aren't wafer screws, but a nice soft edge is what you're looking for. If you're going to do it that way, you want to line your tube with the dead tube. So you can see here's a tube, and I've taken an old tube and I've cut it down the center. The first step for creating this dead tube is you want to take a pair of scissors, you want to physically cut out the stem, and then once you've cut out the stem, you just want to take your pair of scissors and work your way around the tube. The reason we line our tubes with other tubes is you don't want these screw heads to eventually wear a hole in your tire. So you can see this tube, if you come in close, you can see there's some indentations on it. And fixing a flat is a pain in the neck. So the less you have to do it, the better off you're going to be. And if you're choosing to stud your tires, it's really a good idea to kill a tube, take a dead tube, line your tube with it. Mr. Capan's bike over here has a different type of studded tire. He's got screws going the opposite direction, and they're going directly into the knobs. I think those are sheet metal screws, so they're awfully short. The screw head doesn't come through the tire, so he's in no danger there of puncturing his tube. So I'm not sure if he's lined his tube or not. I would anyway, in case you hit a bump or something and the screw actually could go through. But with his tires, he's got them in a position so that they're not as aggressive. So these would only cut into the ice if he's at an angle. So he's going along. There's going to be less rolling resistance with these tires, so they're going to be a bit more efficient. But they're not going to cut into the ice as much, so they're not going to be quite as safe. So I like mine better than his. Winter's really hard on rubber. It cracks. If you're studying your own tires, I wouldn't say go out and buy the best tire in the world. I just got $20 cheapo tires from my bike shop, and because I'm only going to use them for, well, these are 3 years old, they're starting to crack a bit. I'm only going to use them for 5 years or less. Go with cheap ones. If you're choosing tires to stud, you also want to take into consideration the size of the knobs. Some tires, the knobs aren't large enough to get a screw through, and the screw will tear the knob in half and wreck your tire. So get a really nice fat knob, and don't go too expensive, because the tires are going to wear out faster than they would normally because of the winter. So I've got a $20 tire, I've got $2 worth of screws, and a few minutes of my time, versus if you go to a shop, you could spend $100 on a studded tire. So that's a cheap way of saving some money.